Pokemon evolution is a core part of Pokemon gameplay and a big part of Pokemon's identity as a whole. The most common types of Pokemon evolution come through basic leveling up and stone evolutions, but there's some more obscure ways that Pokemon can evolve, and some of them are rather annoying to pull off. There's Inkay, for example, which evolves into Malamar at level 30. This sounds simple enough, but there's quite the catch. Once Inkay reaches level 30 or higher, you must turn your console upside down as well once leveling up. This wasn't much of a problem for the 3DS games since they were handheld, although I'm sure there's still a lot of people out there who couldn't figure out how to evolve it without looking online. On the Switch, however, you have to undock your system and turn your console upside down, making capturing footage of Inkay evolving quite annoying. This is the only Pokemon to evolve by turning your console upside down as well, making it pretty unique. Now, it wouldn't be one of my videos without at least making a reference to Generation 3, so here it is. In order to evolve Feebas into Milotic in Generation 3, you must have a few different things first. This is also actually the Pokemon that inspired this entire video that a friend recommended to me a couple of days ago. Feebas evolving to Milotic was the first Pokemon to have a super specific evolution requirement, which eventually turned to a Tread evolution in Generation 5, making it much simpler. In Generation 3, however, you have to evolve your Feebas into a Milotic by increasing its beauty stat. In other words, if your Feebas is too ugly, it won't evolve. You can increase Feebas' beauty stat by feeding it Pokeblocks with a high sheen quality, and then by leveling up once to evolve to Milotic. I remember as a kid I was playing through Ruby version and people were trying to complete their Pokedexes, and one of the Pokemon that people had the most trouble with was Milotic, and the Regis of course, because 8-year-olds really can't figure that out. But once one kid in my class figured out how to get Milotic, everybody was frantically trying as well. Another Generation 3 Pokemon evolution that's tricky, although it isn't technically an evolution, is Shedinja. If you level up Nincada to level 20, it will evolve into a Ninjask, but if you also have a free slot in your party and at least one Pokeball in your bag, you will also get a Shedinja to appear as well. This is a rather rare instance of a Pokemon evolving into two different Pokemon, both of them at the same time being obtainable from the same pre-evolution Pokemon. Switching things over to Pokemon Go of all things, we have Melmetal. This Pokemon evolves from Melton after collecting 400 Melton candies within Pokemon Go. This can take some time to collect, but luckily if you manage to do so, you can transfer over your Melmetal into Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee, and pretty soon you should be able to do the same thing with Pokemon Sword and Shield. I want to give just a general reference to every trait evolution out there, since although they are one of the more common types of evolution, some of them can be rather annoying. They'll require you to 1. Find a trade partner, something that can be difficult in older games especially without the ability to go online, and 2. In some instances require a rare item that you usually only get one copy of in your game to give to the Pokemon while trading it. I remember having to trade with myself to get all these trade evolutions, borrowing my sister's Game Boy and using my copy of Pokemon Emerald and Leaf Green version. Luckily these got easier in newer generations. Some of my favorite trade evolutions though are Huntail and Gorbius, both of which evolve from Clamperl while holding a certain item when traded. If your Clamperl is holding the Deep Sea Tooth, it'll evolve to Huntail, and if it has a Deep Sea Scale, it'll evolve into a Gorbis. One of the more specific trade evolutions though are Shelmet and Carablast. Shelmet evolves into a Celigor, and Carablast evolves into a Scavalier when a Shelmet is traded for a Carablast. The lore behind this is something to do with because when traded, Carablast takes Shedinja's shell, which turns into a Scavalier and uses it as armor, and also results in a Celigor having low defenses. When X and Y first came out, we got a brand new evolution in Sylveon. I wanted to get one in my game as quickly as I could, but first I had to increase the friendship quality on my Eevee and have it know a fairy type move to evolve into Sylveon. Friendship based evolutions are so annoying and take forever to do while playing the game normally. It gets a little bit easier once you actually beat the game since you'll have access to other items and different resources to boost friendship, but while playing through the main game it can be difficult. There isn't a great way to accurately see the friendship level as well until beating the game, however, making it more of a guessing game as to if your Pokemon will evolve or not. It's pretty easy to accidentally lower Pokemon's friendship as well, which makes it quite annoying. There's also instances with Eevee where it evolves into Umbreon during the night and Espeon during the day, where if you're trying to get your Eevee to evolve into Sylveon, you could accidentally level it up and evolve into an Umbreon or Espeon. Just like Sylveon and Malamar, yet another Generation 6 Pokemon has a weird evolutionary requirement. In order to evolve Pancham into Pangoro, you must level up Pancham to at least level 32 while also having a Dark-type Pokemon in your party. As for the reasoning behind this, I can't really find anything that specifically explains it, but I would assume it has to do something with the fact that the Dark type would be a bad influence on Pancham, causing it to evolve and gain the Dark typing. I say this because a lot of the dex entries for Pancham say how it can't help but smile even though it tries very hard to be scary and intimidating, which it really isn't. Mantyke's evolutionary requirement is somewhat similar to Pancham's, but a little bit more specific. To evolve your Mantyke into Mantine, you must level up Mantyke while having a Remoraid in your party. This is because that Remoraid is often seen on Mantine's fins, although that isn't the case for Sword and Shield. Luckily, you still get to keep that Remoraid anyway on your team, which just evolves by a simple level up to Octillery at level 25. Some of my favorite Pokemon are the various Hitmon forms, all of which evolve from Tyrogue. It can be tricky to know exactly how to do this properly, since Tyrogue will evolve into one of the 3 Hitmons based on its stats. If Tyrogue's attack stat is higher than its defense stat, it'll evolve into Hitmonlee. If its defense stat is higher than its attack stat, it'll evolve into Hitmonchan, and if its attack stat and defense stat are equal, it'll evolve into Hitmontop. Hitmontop would be the most annoying of the 3 to obtain, and I can imagine people being confused back when Pokemon Gold and Silver first came out when they tried to evolve their Tyrogue into the Hitmon of their choice. Some Pokemon even evolve by having a certain move on them while leveling up. For example, if you want Tangela to evolve into Tangrowth, your Tangela must know Ancient Power while leveling up. The same goes for Piloswine into Mamoswine and Yanma into Yanmega. I'll leave a link in the description to a list of other Pokemon that evolve from knowing a specific move, since there's quite a few. In most cases, the move isn't even that good and something you'd want to delete after actually evolving. Now, if you thought some of the evolutionary requirements for Generation 6 Pokemon were ridiculous, it gets much weirder with the 8th generation of Pokemon. None of which are more infamous than Alcremie, which evolves from Milcery. Hopefully I'm saying that right. It has 64 different forms, each of which requires specific suite and require your character to spin at different parts of the day. The form you have doesn't influence Gigantamax's form, which is one of the coolest Gigantamaxes in my opinion, which is a shame though, since some of its forms are rather hard to obtain. For example, if you want this specific Alcremie with the purple ribbons, you must evolve your Milcery with a ribbon suite while spinning counterclockwise for more than 10 seconds between the hours of 7 and 7:59 PM. This is one of the most convoluted, but every single form requires you to spin in some way. The shiny variants are not influenced by the specific spin though, they just care about the item you have while spinning at any time of the day. Toxel also has some specific evolutionary requirements for both of its forms. If you want the Ant form, you must level up to level 30 while you have the either Hardy, Brave, Adamant, Naughty, Docile, Impish, Lax, Hasty, Jolly, Naive, Rash, Sassy, or Quirky nature. If you want the low-key form, then it has to have any ability besides the ones I just listed. There's no difference in terms of stats between the two, however, and it's just appearance and color. Galarian Farfetchd has a unique evolutionary requirement too. What you need to do is get 3 critical hits in one battle, then it'll evolve into Sirfetch'd without having to worry about leveling up. There's a few other ways to influence this of course, but getting 3 critical hits is rather rare and in some cases can knock your Pokemon out. What I did personally is I used my Farfetch'd on a Blissey, which I knew would only have moves like Soft Bullet and Last Resort, stuff that it couldn't really damage me with, went for Focus Energy and then a couple of Leaf Blades until I got 3 critical hits, and luckily for me, it worked. Now for one of the more specific and annoying evolutionary requirements in Sword and Shield, we have Galarian Yamask, evolving into Reunigress in Sword and Shield. In order to do this, you must have your Galarian Yamask take at least 49 or more points of damage without fainting. Things like Hail and Poison don't count, for this has to be an actual attack. Then take it to the Dusty Bowl part of the wild area. If you run out of this very specific stone formation while having the Galarian Yamask in your party that took the specific amount of damage, it will just evolve. And those are just some Pokemon with rather different or weird evolutionary requirements, some of which can be a real pain to accomplish. Let me know in the comments down below which ones you think are the toughest, as well as any others out there that I didn't mention in this video that are rather weird. If you guys made it this far in the video, consider leaving a like, it helps the channel a ton and helps YouTube promote this video, and subscribe so you don't miss any of my future uploads.